says, will you be the Lakefield Summerfest Grand Marshals?
Then they didn't put our names on the donuts in case they said no.
First of all, I think it's totally humbling. I mean, for people to say that we should be grand marshals of a parade, I mean, that's ridiculous. We don't do anything different than anybody else in the town. We do our job. We love what we do, and then for people to say, wow, you should be that to me is totally humbling.
I think of the people that have been in the past and what they have all done for this town, and then I look at us as just being
just normal everyday people.
Common people.
Yeah, go about and do our business.
During my senior year, there was an opening at Sioux Valley, Roland Brewster, and so we just applied there, and then we came down for that interview, but they were looking for somebody at that year to finish out the year, but that was the first time we were in Lakefield, because then we drove through the southern end of Lakefield by the bowling alley, and they used to have these really neat bridges. We thought, wow, that'd be neat to have bridges like that, and then we just lived, when we moved here then, we lived just 2 houses up
from the bowling alley in that blue stucco house.
Yeah, because see then I had applied at Medelia, and I was the runner-up there. I never applied here. The principal, Ron Reese, who was kind of out there, but he was friends with the principal at Medelia. And then they had 2 openings, one for Stan King and then one for another guy, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but Ron talked to that principal and said, hey, we had a guy here that was pretty good. And then so Ron called me, and then he asked me to come down for an interview. And when I came for the interview, it wasn't where I was trying to convince them they should hire me, they were trying to convince me I should come here. I went back home, and then Ron called me a few more times, and then we decided, we'd come down here. We'd be here about 5 years, and then we'd move closer to home. But then by the time that time period came up, this was home. Well, we had the kids, and we bought a house. Stan Sievert was really, really good for getting us to get the house. It's the one that Chuck Barron's are in now. And there too, like when I came, I was coaching football, and the head football coach lived there, and we had a meeting there before season. And what I remember when we were leaving, we thought, God, that'd be a neat house to have. And then just a year and a half or so later, it was ours. But that was it. And I don't know, it was always so comfortable here.
It always just everything fell into place. I was doing daycare. Brenda Resch got me into that. We lived next to Resch's. They lived in the greenhouse, and then we lived in the blue house, and Brenda was doing daycare. And she was going to go back to school to get her teaching degree. And she said, well, you should start daycare. So when Jacob was 6 weeks old, I started daycare. And then
There was another teacher, Roger Diversting.
Yep, I had Diversting's little girl. Yep, I had 2 babies at that time.
The other thing too, like for comfort, Tim McConnell, Tim and Leanne kind of took us under their wings, and
awesome.
we did a lot with them until.
Oh, a lot, yeah.
And when we became HLOL, then he was here and I was in Okabena for a while. So then we kind of.
And their kids were,
and then the kids, yeah.
I have 5 brothers and 1 sister, and 1 brother passed away. So there's 7 of us.
Yeah, there are 11 of us kids. Yeah, I'm 5th in line. Knights of Columbus is one I joined early on. That's through church. And then we used to have there was a commercial club for men. I belonged to that. They just met once a year. The board met more often, but they'd have a banquet once a year. And then we used to have a JC's in town. And I belonged to that, and then we shut that down and became Lakefield Young Citizens, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then, then that ran a few more years, and then that folded. And then I've been in the Lions.
I was on the Jackson County Library Board for 9 years, and I'm on the parish council at school, our church, and I teach faith formations on Wednesdays. And it used to be JC Women, and then became Women of Today, and then they all folded. So I was on both of those.
Oh yeah, I was parish council too for a while.
Yep, parish council. And now you're on the cemetery board.
Yep, cemetery board. I was on utility board
Oh, utility board
for 10 years now. I did a 9-year stint. Or was I 2 this time? 10 or 11 years. I also used to be on our rec board in town. We used to have recreation for mites, midgets, and that stuff. I was on that, and I'm
And years ago,
unfortunately
I was in the
on
quarterback
the-
club,
Oh yeah, we
which
had
was the
quarterback
booster club.
Oh.
And it was Andrea Tronset and Sue Jansma and Sandy Thompson and I, and we did all the buttons for all the sports. We had button makers and
Yeah, and you'd put them all together
yes,
and
yes. We did that for years, even before we started with Lakefield. Then we went to HLOL, and then we started at JCC, and then they got someone else to do it. But yeah, I don't know how many years the 4 of us were doing that. I'm the president of the Legion Auxiliary.
President, I didn't know that.
Yep. And then Wednesdays I teach faith formation, and I've done that for 36 years maybe.
We used to teach religion together, but
Yeah,
then
we
I
did.
switched
Yeah.
to Wednesday bowlings, and then I quit.
Yeah.
But for like when she said president, both of us have been president of our organizations, on every organization.
Yep,
I think we've been in.
CCW, yep.
I just got done with being the Grand Knight after about 10 years of that. Yep, well Kathy also did all the softball playing too.
Yeah, many years, 38 years of that, till my knees gave out.
It was
Which,
always to be able to play ball with their daughters.
1 year
Yeah.
with Laura, Teresa, and Shelley. That was kind of fun.
In fact,
I
had
played
her
ball
once.
the first, I would bet the first 5 years of Jacob's life, weekends, all the time I was gone playing ball.
She played in the Metrodome once. That was an early
Yep.
morning game
Yep,
too.
with Deborah Unschler.
That's
That was our team.
fundraiser.
That was our Toro team.
Yep.
Yep.
I got to announce that time there. I started we had a JC outing, and I borrowed Doug Anderson's clubs and that to play in, and then I played, and then I liked it then. And I remember my first set of clubs were from Kmart, and then the second one were the second ones I had for a long time. I had them in Austin's, and those I liked, and then the kids gave me Daniel's hand-me-downs when he bought a new set not too long ago, Pings. Yep, I had 34 years, and then and I retired my last teaching day was in May of 2015. But I couldn't retire until my birthday in the summer. So I put it off one day and retired on August 20 instead of August 19. I like it a lot. The classroom part's probably the boring part, but being in the car with the kids, I like that a lot.
It's weird because you think that I changed his diapers and now I'm changing his kids' diapers.
When Daniel's grade won the football championship too, it was kind of neat because they were our daycare, they're our daycare, they're our daycare. A whole bunch of the boys that did a lot for the team went through our.
And had played in our
We played a lot
backyard.
in the backyard here.
When we lived at the other house, it was a vacant backyard. So they played baseball, they played football, they played all the time.
And even here then too with the backyard, they did a lot of playing.
But
then,
the last time we were all together, we went
that was
to
at Fort Myers.
Fort Myers.
That would
Yeah.
have been 2015.
Yeah.
Because at the time, it was the first time that I took a vacation during the school year. And before that, I always thought, I take vacation during school year. We got summers for that. But then after taking it, I thought, jeepers, I should have been doing that every year. Because it's kind of nice, breaking the action. But yeah, that was 2015. We went to Fort Myers.
Yeah.
The Twins baseball.
We have 4 kids. Jacob will be 37 in July, and he's married to Heather. And they have Olivia, who's 7, Jacob, who's almost 5, Lillian, who is 2, and baby number 4 is due in 6 weeks. And they live in Jefferson City, Missouri. Jacob's full-time employee of the U.S. Army. And Daniel and Shelley live in Jackson, and he turned 35 in February. And they have Cora, who's 6, Hallie, who's 3, and Ella, who's 1. And Laura and Jimmy are down in Esterville, and she's a math teacher for Esterville.
She's actually a teacher
She's
coach
actually teaching
now.
coach right now. And they'll be married 2 years in June. And Teresa and Mike live in Coralville, Iowa, and they have William, who's 5, and Phil, who's 1, and then they'll be moving to Fargo a year from now, or a year next May, for his job. He's a radiologist.
Yeah, Mike's radiologist. Jimmy, Laura's husband, is a lawyer. And then Shelley,
Shelley's a teacher, and then
Heather's real
Heather
estate.
stays home.
That was Nacho, a boy from Spain.
And Nacho Lamas, he was from Spain.
Nacho, basically, he was there here in the U.S. the year before, and he wanted to come back for another year and get his driver license. Was his goal.
Jana was from Germany.
Our second one was Dennis.
Oh yeah, Dennis from Germany. And then after he was here in 2000, then we spent the Christmas 2001 in Germany. The whole family did with his family.
Wow.
Right after 9/11. So that was,
When Dennis was here, his friend Busty came to visit.
oh yeah, that's at Easter time.
Yep, he came to visit, and his sister also
Minnie.
came. Minnie came after school was out. She came and then stayed until it was time for him to go back, and then she went back with him. Raphael.
From Brazil.
Yeah, before Raphael. I think it was before Raphael. We had a girl from Brazil just for a month.
Yep,
month
through the
and a
Lions
half.
program.
Isabella, and then we also had a girl from Peru.
Stephanie.
Yep. She was really, really quiet.
Oh, very quiet.
And then Raphael, and then Som,
Som.
and then DJ,
Som was from
Thailand.
Thailand.
DJ was Malaysia. And then our last one was Claudia from Italy.
Spain. Or from Claudia's from Italy. Yeah. I think to me is the people. I look at, with the power out this past week, how the community has come together and people have donated food and their time, and that's with anything that has happened. We had the tornado, people were here, people were, the people are just wonderful. They help others, and it's probably true of every small town, but I do think that here we cover each other's back, and I think that it is just, it's the place that we do call home. That we'll both be buried here.
We both have so many people that are friends.
Yes.
That are age and that we
Right.
go up to the fire hall. Oh, hi Steve, hi Kathy, and all over the place.
We were at Subway last week, and this couple, hi Condons and hi Mr. Condon, and we both go.
The kid that I had for subbing,
We didn't know who it was, but they knew
recognized
who
him,
we
couldn't
were.
remember his name.
It was the
We got it
Sochek,
figured out.
Henry Sochek's kids.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Henry I had as a student.
Yep. It just feels like we belong here. Yeah, we have many good friends here, and
You're very, very comfortable living here, and never have to please anybody. You can just be yourself. And
Yep.
I remember when Dad and Mom had our 9th kid, and they announced it at church. And after church, a guy came up to Dad and, "What do you want to have more kids for in this world?" And Dad said, "Well, Virginia and I, we like children. It's the only way we knew how to get them." Well, we found a different way to get the kids. My
Yeah.
teaching and her at daycare.
yeah.